Come on, Annie. Let's go to the movies.
This is the Cinereelists, episode 606. My name is Kyle.
My name is James.
And my name is Zach.
And we're here to talk movies, movie lists, and movie obsession for the next hour or so.
Episode 666. I thought it would never happen, to be honest.
Here we are.
Yep. This episode is cursed.
It's because it took us 2 weeks to get this episode out.
It's the first episode it took 2 weeks to record.
That's true.
Well,
after 11 years. Zach.
I mean, we just knew this was coming up and like, okay, can we pull the trigger on
Yep.
603 guys?
We've had a completely failed episode, though. Episode
That's true.
90-something is a lost episode. I know that because just this week I was working on trying to revive it.
You're still trying to find it?
No, I have it. We have the files. They're just like corrupted, so they like sound
Okay.
terrible, and they're just messed up in like 3 different ways. But AI like plugins are getting good enough that I'm hoping I can fix it and release it as a lost episode.
That would be wild. Because we probably recorded that in 2015.
If not earlier. It was in the first 100 episodes for sure.
Right. Yeah. And Scotty was on that episode. I remember that.
Yeah.
I felt so bad we couldn't release it.
And what's funny is his mic sounds fine. Totally fine. It's you and
it
me
was
that are
us.
messed up. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
that's up, yeah.
That was back when we were recording on Rock Band microphones.
Yeah. Yeah, it was our
Yep.
top 10 favorite movie trailers.
We
From
considered
2015.
right. We considered redoing that list at some point, but never got around to it.
Well, if I'm successful, we won't have to.
Nice.
Well, it's been 2 weeks.
yeah.
We're finally here, though. In our defense, we all did hang out like a week and a half ago.
Sure. We all separately hung out with Kyle.
Yes, I came to Orlando and I scheduled some James time. I scheduled some Zach time on different days because people don't know this, but Zach and James actually hate each other. And there's a reason we do this on Zoom.
Yeah.
When I was in 5th grade, Kyle made me had 2 birthday parties because he didn't like
Oh my
friend.
goodness.
He didn't like my friend Peter, and so he had to have a birthday party on a day different than Peter. Peter came to my birthday party.
Is that true?
Yeah. Yes, it's true.
That's insane.
Okay, Zach had 2 friends. For a long time, he had 1 friend.
I still have 2 friends, and they're fighting.
And then Zach got a second friend. And I was like, whoa. I didn't sign up for 2 friends.
And then you forced him to have 2 different birthday parties.
Yeah, and Zach was a pushover. He's like, okay, because he's just happy to have 2 friends. He didn't want to lose one.
Too risky.
Yeah.
Wild.
It's all just about how far can I push Zach, but still keep him as my friend.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the podcast. This is episode 666. Also our annual Hangover episode, one of my favorite episodes of the year, in which we do, we run down more lists than any podcast on the internet, period. Or that we know of anyway. I think by now we'd have heard about it, right? If there was another podcast doing more lists in one episode.
Yeah, we would have read
We
about it on
definitely
the news or something.
For sure. There's nothing else going on to talk about in the news. So we're going to run through a bunch of our lists related to 2024. If you haven't listened to it yet, our previous episode was our top 20 of 2024. So if you're curious to know what our favorite movies from last year was, check out that episode. This episode is going to be more or less related to that kind of stuff. So buckle in because we're going to go pretty fast. Try to make this one as succinct as possible, even though that's pretty much impossible with how many lists we've jammed into it this year. You guys want to jump right into it?
I think we jump right into it, James. Yep.
Let's
All
go.
right. Every year we start with our listener top list of 2024. Listeners have been sending in their list, sending in their revised list, sending in their third revision of their list. Since it took us so long to record this.
Yeah. One consequence of us delaying this episode a week is we definitely got revised lists, which thankfully I do all of this in Excel with a lot of formulas, and so I could just plug in new numbers and it would do the math for me. So
Good.
Nice.
happy about that. But are you ready for the listener top 10 of 2024?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Number 10, Anora.
Okay.
Okay.
Number 9 is The Order.
Which I have not seen yet. All right.
Well,
It's a good one.
Number 8 is It's What's Inside.
Well, I don't know that movie.
It's What's Inside is a body swap movie that I have seen.
I saw it.
Okay.
That I have seen and is actually confusing for one, but pretty innovative in some ways. Like it does things that I haven't seen in a film before.
Because instead of like two people swapping bodies, it's like a group of friends swap bodies. So like you have like 5 or 6 personalities on screen, and they're all playing each other's characters.
Oh, okay.
And they can like swap back and swap back and swap back and swap back.
Yeah. And they don't necessarily know who each other is either.
Yeah.
And then whenever the movie wants to clue us in about who they are, it'll change the color of what's on screen to like red. And then the characters are replaced by their actual personas. And then it'll switch back. It's very innovative and confusing, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. So I think it's fun that it's on this list. It's What's Inside.
Mm-hmm.
Number 7 is The Substance.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Nice.
Number 6 is Challengers.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is a movie that was it on Kyle's list?
I've not seen this movie, no.
Okay. This is a movie that wasn't on any of our lists.
It was on my honorable mention.
Okay. It was listener top 10. For number 5 is Civil War.
Okay, that's high.
Made on the list, despite how slowly she got up and started taking pictures at the beginning of that film. Number 4 is Love Lies Bleeding.
Okay.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah. Number 3 is A Complete Unknown.
Still haven't seen it.
Yeah, I'm got to see that one.
Is this the Kieran Culkin movie?
No, this is the Timothy Chalamet Bob Dylan movie.
Gotcha. Okay.
Now that he's nominated, I have to see it before the Oscars.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like, okay, well,
heard it's good.
Add it to the list.
Heard it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 is The Brutalist.
Heard of it?
Nice.
The Brutalist. And number 1, Dune 2. Dune Part 2.
Ah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
The art house crowd pleaser.
Yeah.
So, Zach, you don't need to go into your full formula algorithm, but it is a bit like ranked choice in a sense. So like that's why a movie like Dune 2, if a lot of people have it towards the top of their list, but it may not number 1, that's how it could become the number 1.
That would help for sure, although it was on a lot of people's number 1.
It was number 1. Okay, cool.
I'm looking now, and I'm just going to see how many lists it was actually number 1 for. And the number that applies to is it was number 1 on 5 lists.
All right.
As well as being high on a lot of other lists.
That was a very purred happily delivery you had there.
Wait, what was it?
Yeah. You're like, I'm going to tell you the number that is on and the number of lists that movie applies to.
Oh, pert happily. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
I thought you were using adjectives. Like it was a very pert way that you told us, and you very happily told us.
No, pert happily, the Parks and Rec character.
Gotcha. For sure.
Nice.
Awesome. That's a great list.
I have not heard the name Purred Happily in quite a while.
Yeah, his name's Purred, not Pert.
I said purred.
Yeah, Perd.
No,
P-E-R-D.
I'm letting the people at home know that you were right. You are a hard person to agree with, Kyle.
I know.
No,
I make it difficult.
That's listener top 10. Dune 2 took the spot. Congratulations, Dune 2.
Nice.
It's
not going to win.
I have Denis Villeneuve on the phone here. And he just hung up. Sorry. I was going to congratulate him. So
he's
accepting the
himself.
award of the Cinereelists top listener movie of the year will be me on Denis' behalf. And when I see him next, I'll be sure to deliver this to him personally.
Nice. All right.
Do you call Villeneuve
thank
Diddy?
You. Yeah, that's what I heard too, but I let it pass.
I said Denis.
Oh, I heard
Denis.
Okay.
Well, I mean, we all project Zach, so.
Well, thank you for listening. Thank you for sending in your listener top list. We appreciate that. And look forward to next year's listener aggregate list as well. Let's before we jump into the lists proper for this Hangover episode, let's talk about our 2024 movie habit. Right? How has it changed? How has it stayed the same from previous years? What did you get up to in 2024 when it comes to your movie habit? Let's start with average rating. We rank every movie we see on Letterboxd. We give it a rating. How has that changed over the years?
Well, my average rating was 3.44 stars.
Okay.
Which is a pretty normal. I mean, a normal rating for me is about 3.5 stars. So that fits, that tracks, and is slightly higher than last year. My 2023 movies were 3.38.
Oh,
so it's a little bit higher.
Nice.
But also, I believe that number does not include Ricky Stenicki, which could bring it right back down to 3.38. So I'm not sure.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll caveat by saying I use Letterboxd for a lot of this. And some movies that we consider 2024 movies may have had an original release in 2023 or even 2022. So I'm not going to say that all my data is 100% accurate, but if I use the same data every year, then over time, it's always accurate because I'm always using, the Letterboxd algorithm.
Nice.
So yeah, my average for 2024 was 3.31, which is slightly higher than my average of last year, which was 3.3.
That is slight. I agree.
I feel like that's not statistically significant.
Just 100th higher, but yes.
Mine was 3.23, which I've been in the 3.2s since 2019.
Okay.
I can't get out of the 3.2s for some reason, higher or lower. The amount of movies I watched last year was actually up, which confuses me because it felt like I didn't see a whole lot last year. As far as 2024 movies from 2024 released in 2024, I was at 83, which was up 6 movies.
Nice.
From 2023.
Was your rating higher or lower, the average rating, than last year?
It was higher, but not by much, only by 0.3.
Okay. So all of ours were higher in 2024 than 2023.
Yep.
Well, yeah.
But not by much.
Technically,
but not by
yes.
Yes. Interesting.
How many 2024 movies did you guys watch in 2024?
According to Letterboxd, it's 48, but I think it was actually, if I count like other years, I think it was in like the mid 50s. Okay. If I use that 48 number last year, I had 54 2023 movies. So I'm slightly down, but my share is the same. A third of the movies that I watched last year and this year are from the year of release.
Now, Kyle, when you say 2023, is that what Letterboxd says now, or is that what you noted last Hangover episode for the year?
That's why I noted last Hangover episode.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
And how many has it risen since then?
I think if I look at Letterboxd right now, I think I've watched in the 70s for 2023 movies.
Okay, nice.
So I've added on probably another 20 over the year.
All right, that's a good return. That's good appreciation.
It is. And, it's because we're doing this before Oscars. So there's still Oscar movies that we have to watch, between now and then. And yeah. How about
I've
you,
only
Zach?
seen 41 2024 movies.
Okay.
Nice.
41.
And then, Zach, how many movies total or James, either of you, how many movies total did you guys watch in 2024?
So I saw a total of 53 new to me movies.
Okay.
I watched a total of 87 movies if you include rewatches.
Yeah, I think that counts.
I mean, I'm sure I have rewatches somewhere, but I watched a total of 210 last year, which was down 3. So almost exactly as many as I watched in 2023. I watched in
So James,
2024.
just to recap, you watched almost exactly the same number of movies and gave them almost exactly the same average rating.
Almost, yeah.
All right.
I don't know how that
you
worked
are
out that way,
nothing
but it did.
if not consistent.
Yeah, that's impressive, James.
Do you go into a movie and you're just like right before it starts, you just say to yourself, 3.2.
He calls it like Babe Ruth.
No. But
Actually,
wish.
I do have a question for you guys.
Mhm.
As you're watching a movie, are you giving it a running star rating in your head?
Sometimes.
No.
Okay. I would say more often than not, as I'm watching a movie, I'll be like, yeah, this feels like a 4-star right now. And it can change as the movie goes on.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it's definitely, maybe it's a letterbox effect, but definitely as I'm watching a movie, I'm thinking about what rating could this be? Which I don't know if I like that about myself.
I can't say I've never done that, but I don't actively do that while I watch movies. That would be
Well, I'm not choosing to do it. I'm
Sure.
not, it's just happening. So
right.
I would say maybe a quarter of the time, usually about maybe 75% into a film, the idea will pop into my head that like, oh yeah, this is a 4-star movie.
okay. But when you're like 3/4 of the way through.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say like in the first 5 minutes, I'm like, yep, 3.5.
Sure.
Well, I did. Oh yeah, I'll jump in really quick.
Okay.
I watched 94 first-time watches in 2024, and then 53 rewatches. So a total of 147 movies I watched in 2024. Last year, I watched 164. So I'm down about 15 movies. And I think the biggest reason why is just life has gotten busier for me.
Sure.
Letterboxd does a great thing of like kind of tracking when you log movies, and 65% of movies I watch are on Saturday or Sunday. So
Okay.
it's just, like
Nice.
I'm still averaging almost 3 a week, which is pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
But, not watching as many as I did last year because, other things are going on.
Sure. Nice. Well, of my 210 from last year, 51 of them were rewatches.
Okay.
So a good fourth, good quarter. 35 of them were in a movie theater, which was actually down by 9 movies compared to 2023. 28 of them, I used my AMC list, which saved me about $91 last year.
Nice.
in
That's
movie
it?
Tickets. That's it. The year before, I had saved $182. So that's the difference when you see 9 less movies in a year, evidently, in a theater.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, go ahead, James.
Go ahead. I had a couple other stats.
Yeah, please do.
I watched 24 streaming exclusive titles, which was down 4. I watched 25 Blu-rays, which was up by 6, which is great. I just want that number to go up, to be honest. And I watched 21 4K Blu-rays last year.
Nice.
Wow.
So I'm trying to actually get use out of that dumb collection I have. I'm like, what's the
Well, it
point of
sounds like
getting
it's
them
going
if
up.
you're never going to watch them? for sure.
That's a good point.
My
Great
top
point.
5 ways I watch movies in 2024. HBO Max, whatever you want to call it. That was number 5. Tied at number 4 was iTunes and Disney Plus.
Nice.
Number 3, Netflix. Still watching movies on Netflix streaming. Number 2, theater. I saw 21 movies in the theater in 2024. And then my number 1 way to watch a movie is a movie that I own. I watched 24 movies that I own in 2024. I did keep track of media too. I watched 13 4Ks, which is up from 9 last year.
Nice.
I watched 9 Blu-rays, which is down from 24 Blu-rays last year. And 8 DVDs, which is down from 17 DVDs last year.
DVDs.
But last year, I still had Netflix in the mail.
Oh. And they took that away from you.
So yes, my 4K viewing has gone up, but my Blu-ray and DVD plummeting viewing has plummeted.
I can't believe you kept that going for that long.
Oh, no, I re-signed up for it. Like, I canceled it when the streaming service came out way back when.
Mm-hmm.
And then during pandemic, I stopped going to the library. And I was like, well, this thing still exists. So I signed up for it during pandemic, and I kept it for like 3 or 4 years until they shut it down. It was so sad when they shut it down.
Sure.
Because it's definitely affected my movie watching habits in other ways that I'll talk about in a moment. But I'll let Zach go ahead.
I just want to give a shout out to DVDs. I still love you, DVDs. Don't let the haters get you down. DVDs are awesome. And for those of us who don't have 98-inch TVs, you know, sometimes you can't even tell the difference.
I don't have a 98-inch TV.
No, I'm saying those of us that do.
I had to get into that triple digits.
You needed 100 just to say you had 100.
Exactly.
Right. I totally understand.
You got it.
I read Fahrenheit 451 for the first time last year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And they have TV screens that are just their walls. Like all their walls are TV screens basically in their houses.
Nice. I can't wait.
Yeah. Fahrenheit 451 does some effective predictions of the future concerning when it was written. Especially like how people consume media and their addiction to television.
Mm-hmm.
Or screens, I think we should say.
Right.
Makes sense.
Sweet. All right, what's next?
Let's keep talking books, guys.
Before we jump into the lists, the 2024 lists, let's talk about as a podcast.
Yes.
As a podcast, we released 3 days, 21 hours, 6 minutes, and 45 seconds of free episodes.
Wait, say again, 3 days. How many hours?
3 days, 21 hours.
Oh, 21. I think I said 3 days, 24 hours. 3 days, 21 hours. Okay.
6 minutes, 45 seconds.
So almost 4 straight days.
Right, which was about 6 hours less than 2023. So I think we missed a couple episodes over the course of the year here and there. And we ended up with 6 hours less. But spread across 28 after shows, we released 18 hours, 36 minutes, and 31 seconds of after show audio to Patreon listeners, which was 4 hours more than 2023. So the free episodes became less and the after shows became more.
Because why are we giving this away for free, guys?
Yeah. So that's like what, 4.5 days of content total?
4 days, 1 hour, 55 minutes.
Nice.
Total.
How many? Okay, we did this last year. How many work weeks is that? If you are 40 hours a week,
I don't know.
Wait, so it's 4 days, 1 hour?
It's like it's about 100. It's about 100 hours, right?
Yeah,
so like 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, you could 2.5 weeks of listening to us. Fill your time.
If you listen to every episode and every after show.
Yeah.
You listen.
Turn it on at 9. Turn it off at
weeks.
5. Yep.
Right.
It's great.
Like it's a full-time job. All right.
And on that note, if you want to hear the rest of our list, please sign up for Patreon. Thank you for listening to this.
And it means we've been talking to each other for 4 days straight.
Yep.
Only? It's only 4 days.
4 days over the course of a year.
James, I have some Cinereelists news.
Okay. Hit me.
You gave me a mouse pad roughly 10 years ago. And it's the scene from Jurassic Park that we have on the back of our Cinereelists promo cards. It just recently gotten kind of sticky on the bottom. And so I may be retiring it. And instead I got a table, like a desk length mouse pad. It's like a mouse top, you know, that everything goes on or whatever. And it's a world map. And I'm still getting used to it because I missed my dinosaur from you. But my biggest complaint about this mouse pad is that it's a world map, but it's blurry. It's like a blurry map.
Oh. So whatever image they used, it wasn't high resolution, evidently.
It wasn't high resolution. And so it's like, it's cool in that it's like, you know, big, but it's very disappointing every time I actually look at it. So I don't know. It's hard to get a good mouse pad, but you picked a winner 10 years ago.
I would say you should replace it with a custom Jurassic Park full-size desk mouse pad. But it would probably be too busy.
Exactly.
Like you wouldn't want to look down and see that all the way across your desk.
Yes. This is like black oceans, dark gray continents. You know, it's very minimalist.
Right.
That you can get for
and all kind of fuzzy on the edges.
Fuzzy everywhere. All the text is fuzzy. It's very disappointing.
Did you like upload the image or
No.
sorry, did you have this custom made or is this like
No.
you just found it like on Etsy or one of those websites?
Yeah.
Right. If it was Etsy, you could probably return it and be like, hey, this is crap. But if it's one of those random printing websites, you're SOL.
It's like a Temu type of thing.
Yeah, you're tough.
So
here's the big question. Is New Zealand on the map?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Why wouldn't it be?
That's very often if you look at like world map art, especially if they're like more, you know, artistic maps or whatever, just like the outline of the continents, New Zealand gets left off because it's kind of in like that. If you put the Atlantic Ocean in the middle, New Zealand's in like that lower right-hand corner. So they kind of forget to print it or they kind of cut it off or whatever. So next time you're like at a Target or I don't know, a world market or something, look at their world maps, look at their world map paintings and see how they have New Zealand on them.
Sure. I want to go to New Zealand.
This map is accurate. I've been to New Zealand. It was awesome.
Yep. I've been to New Zealand.
I want to go.
James, have you been to New Zealand?
Yeah, come on, man. What are you doing?
I'm ready. I'm quitting all my clients tomorrow. Going to New Zealand.
James, do I have a business proposition for you?
This map is accurate enough that it has Eswatini on it.
That's a Star Wars continent.
No. Did you know Swaziland changed their name to Eswatini?
They did, really?
Yeah, absolutely.
I honestly, I've not kept up with the African name changes. Whatever they were called in like 6th grade, that's what they are to me.
Really?
And
okay, well,
I memorized that map once. I don't need to memorize it again.
There's now a South Sudan.
Right, because like the Congo's gone now. It's like that's like the DRC, right?
Yeah.
Is Zimbabwe still a country, or do they change their name?
Zimbabwe's still there.
Okay, another one of those Central.
You're
African
thinking of
countries
Rhodesia.
Oh, Rhodesia, of course, yes.
All right. Enough.
Moving on.
Enough colonial talk.
Let's talk 2024 lists. These are like not necessarily alternative lists, but we did our favorite movies last week or in the last episode. This episode, we're going to do a couple of other related 2024 lists, starting with our top 10 best performances of 2024. I'll go ahead and start. My number 10, Kieran Culkin in A Real Pain.
That's I want to see that one movie too.
Which, if you guys haven't seen that, you should check it out. Especially if you
How good is that movie?
It's good. Did you see that TV show he was on?
Yeah,
Succession?
I tried to get you to watch it for months.
Succession. Yeah,
Heard of it.
I watched it. I watched all of it in like a month.
After months.
Yeah. So it feels like an extension of that character, but like more grounded, less heightened, which probably isn't a selling point said out loud, but it's a good movie about kind of wrestling with one's, I don't know, family legacy, maybe. It's like him and his friend get an all expenses paid trip to Poland to visit like Jewish historical sites from his grandmother who passed away. And he was like really close with his grandmother. So it's Kieran Culkin and Jesse Eisenberg like traveling through Poland together. It's a travel show, but one with like relational dynamics. My number 9, Chris Hemsworth in Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. He was probably the best part of that movie. I enjoyed his performance, even though I was disappointed with the movie the first time I saw it. Definitely wasn't his fault. Number 8, Jim Carrey in Sonic the Hedgehog 3. I didn't really see this one coming until I really looked at the list of movies I saw last year, and I was like, you know what? Jim Carrey made Sonic the Hedgehog 3 the best Sonic the Hedgehog movie, which is insane because it's the third one he's been in. But it's the first one that I saw that felt more like a Jim Carrey movie than a Sonic movie, like an old school Jim Carrey movie. It just happens to have Sonic in it. He's just acting a fool the whole movie, and it was great. My number 7, Adam Driver in Megalopolis, which I'm not sure. I mean, it is a best performance list. I just can't get what he was doing in that movie out of my brain.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's a best performance, but it's definitely a memorable performance.
It's a standout performance.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Number 6, Ilana Glazer, however you say her last name, in Babes.
Mm-hmm.
She made me laugh a lot this year in that movie. Justice Smith in I Saw the TV Glow. He's great in it. Adrian Brody in The Brutalist. Another reminder that Adrian Brody is a great actor when put in good material. Keith Kupfer in Ghostlight, who plays the father in Ghostlight. Totally believe that guy was exactly who he was on screen. Kind of shocking when you look at his filmography, how many movies he's been in and just never noticed the guy, basically. Demi Moore in The Substance. She was amazing in that movie, and I'm still kind of shocked she was even in that movie. Like the fact that they have her in that movie is kind of insane just because of the content of it and the genre. And number 1, newcomer to me, Mikey Madison in Anora was she was great in that movie. And as I've seen her in like media appearances and awards show type stuff, it's pretty shocking just how not her character, Mikey Madison, the actress, is compared to the character as depicted in Anora. Super impressed. Who's
nice? I'll go next. My number 10, Jocelyn Donahue in The Last Stop in Union County. She was the waitress at the diner.
Mm-hmm.
I thought she did an awesome job. Next is number 9, Dennis Quaid in The Substance.
Yeah.
It was kind of an overtop performance, but I thought he hit the exact right note. And it could go wrong, but he just hit it out of the park with that, and was really effective. Number 8, Ralph Fiennes in Conclave. I really enjoyed his understated performance in that. Number 7, Jesse Plemons in Civil War. He was my favorite part of that, just kind of like the quiet menace. Number 6, Jesse Plemons in Kinds of Kindness. He got 3 roles in that, and I thought that he's a very good versatile actor. Number 5, Adrian Brody in The Brutalist. Number 6, the cat from Flow. I thought gave a very realistic performance of a cat.
The cat.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Very realistic cat. Number 3, Mikey Madison in Anora. Number 2, Keith Kupfer in Ghostlight. And number 1, Demi Moore in The Substance.
Nice.
Yeah. There's going to be some crossover on our list here. My number 10 is Aaron Pierre in Rebel Ridge. Kind of just how he played the anti-Rambo so well stood out to me. Number 9, Jessie Buckley in Wicked Little Letters. In this, she plays an Irish immigrant, kind of a bit of a wild woman who gets caught up in a scandal. Really good performance from her. Number 8, David Dashmalian in Late Night with the Devil. David Dashmalchian. You can just go ahead and chwidle me right now on that one if you want.
Chwidle Elijah 4.
But I liked his performance a lot in that movie. Number 7, Maya Hawke as Anxiety in Inside Out 2. I thought she was a great addition to the Inside Out universe. Number 6, Denzel Washington in Gladiator 2. The more I think about that movie, the more I just wanted the Denzel part of that story, and I did not need the Paul Mescal, Lucius stuff whatsoever. But the Denzel stuff was a lot of fun, and he was definitely part of that. Number 5, Olivia Colman in Wicked Little Letters. She plays the other half of the duo as this sort of uptight do-gooder woman who is receiving these terrible letters, and she's having a ton of fun with that role. Number 4, Dennis Quaid in The Substance. Yeah, huge role, kind of embracing or just sort of coded for male misogyny in general, but he hit out of the park with a very large role. Number 3, Chris Hemsworth, Furiosa. I rewatched this movie on the airplane to come visit you guys. I was too hard on this movie. I still have one major issue with it, but I think my major issue kind of clouded my entire. This is a good movie, and there's a lot of great things going on in it. Chris Hemsworth is one of them. Likes his performance a lot. Number 2, Demi Moore, The Substance. Again, I mean, just you guys have said it all. And then number 1, Mikey Madison, Nora. That performance blew me away.
Nice. All right, let's move on to our top 5 favorite scenes of 2024. Starting with my number 5, Channing Tatum's "I'm Sorry" scene in Blink Twice.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think Zach caught up with this, but Kyle remembers it. It's pretty wild. He plays a character where he's like a canceled billionaire, basically. And he's psychotic. And towards the end of the movie, he's doing psychotic things. And there's this one take long exposition scene where he's talking about saying he's sorry. And he just keeps saying, "I'm sorry" over and over. And it just gets more and more unhinged. And it was just crazy to see Channing Tatum play that. It was good. And memorable. My number 4, the running between the feet of the terraformer in Dune 2. You guys remember that? It's kind of towards the beginning. It's an action scene. The sense of scale in that scene is kind of unmatched. And when I rewatched it at home a few weeks ago, I watched it thinking, how come they can't get this done in Star Wars? You know what I mean? Like, there's supposed to be giant things in Star Wars, and yet the sense of scale isn't nowhere near as well represented as it is in Dune 2. But anyway.
Since like Empire.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've been wowed by an action scene in a Star Wars movie. But anyway, number 3, the bird scene in Flow, which if you've seen it, you probably know the scene. The clipping scene affected me, I would say. It's a good one. My number 2, when Dan finds out the ending of Romeo and Juliet in Ghostlight. I thought that was great. Even though at that point in the movie, you don't know why he's reacting that way. Just that scene in general is going to be burned in my brain. And then number 1, the kitchen cooking scene in The Substance has changed my perception of Demi Moore for the rest of my life, I would say. When she's kind of like half witchy looking and she's like obsessing over Margaret Qualley's media appearances. And it looks like she's actually like brewing something like a witch. It was great. My favorite scene of the year.
Go ahead, Zach.
Okay, I have 2 from The Substance on mine. One is the going on getting ready for a date scene from The Substance.
Yep.
Where she keeps redoing her makeup. I think it's pretty heartbreaking and definitely a standout scene to me. The other one is the award ceremony scene from the end, just because of how absolutely insane it is. As soon as the stapler comes out, it just gets crazy.
Yeah.
Anxiety losing control in Inside Out 2. I thought was a really good scene. That is in the climax of the film where anxiety no longer gets into a feedback loop and can't stop itself. The sword scene from The Forge. There's a scene late in the movie where he's holding a sword, and I think it's a fantastic scene. And then the play when finally they had the Romeo and Juliet play at the end of Ghostlight.
Nice. I need to see Ghostlight also. All right, my number 5 is from Furiosa. It's when Chris Hemsworth gives his Dark Dementis speech. This is after he's captured Furiosa and the other guy, Jack, whatever his name is.
Mhm.
And it is a 2.5 minute long unbroken shot of Chris Hemsworth kind of giving this unhinged speech. And it's great. And watch it again. Number 4, I couldn't decide, so I cheated. I picked 2 scenes from The Substance, and they're both have been mentioned already. One is getting ready for the date, where she keeps putting her makeup on, taking it off, changing her clothes. And then the other one is the kitchen scene that you mentioned,
Mhm.
where Demi Moore is in kind of full witch mode. They're both great scenes. Number 3, Thelma, when June Squibb, who's a 90-year-old actress, has to cross an antique store and has the same kind of pacing as a Mission Impossible scene. Pretty funny and pretty clever. Number 2, from Dune Part 2, it's the opening scene. It's when the Harkonnens are trying to find Paul, and then they just start flying out of nowhere, and they kind of levitate. I thought that was such a cool looking scene. And again, another moment where I was in awe of what I was seeing on screen, because I've never seen characters walking and then just levitate out of nowhere.
Mhm.
Without like superpowers.
And it
That
looks
was
so
super cool.
realistic too.
It looks so realistic. It's so natural.
Yeah.
Yep. And then my number 1 is, Zach, you mentioned this, the panic attack from Inside Out. To the way that this movie, that Pixar can take these emotions that, kids are maybe dealing with for the first time and personifying them, being like, this is what anxiety looks like. This is what a panic attack looks like. That was such an effective scene of what panic attacks can feel like on screen. I just thought it was a great scene.
Nice. Man, The Substance had so many good scenes in it. So many memorable.
I probably could have made a list of top 5 Substance scenes.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Not everything we saw in 2024 was good though. And now we're going to run down our top 5 worst movies of 2024. These aren't necessarily the ones we were disappointed with. We went over those in our previous episode. These are just flat out bad movies that nobody should ever watch. My number 5, Borderlands. Never played the game, never will, based on the movie. It was really bad. Number 4, Spaceman, which was an Adam Sandler movie, a drama that was like about existential dread. And I finished it, but man, it was a slog and a half for sure. Number 3, Never Let Go, which is a very dire post-apocalyptic movie starring Halle Berry as this woman who has 2 children. They live out in the woods in a cabin, and they're tied to ropes, and they're allowed to leave the cabin, but only as far as the rope will take them. She's convinced that if they're not attached to the house somehow, that like something will get them. And so the whole movie, you're wondering if it even is a post-apocalyptic situation, or if she's just crazy and she's torturing her kids with this like weird setup type of thing. I did not enjoy it. It was a very dark, disturbing movie that didn't go where I wanted it to. Number 2, Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scar Giver, was pretty awful, I would say. And the part of the movie the part of that series I'm interested in at all was like barely in Scargiver, and that's The Robot.
The Robot, yeah.
All the people I don't care about. And number 1, sadly, Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire. Like if you had told me that a Ghostbusters, I believe Ghostbusters movies can be bad, but this was just like unforgivable, annoying bad. And the worst movie I saw last year. Which is weird because Jason Reitman directed it, and he also directed Saturday Night, which I liked. Both came out the same year. Yeah.
It's very interesting. What do you do with that?
I don't know.
One for him, one for everyone else, I guess.
One for nobody. That's what Ghostbusters was.
One for all the Thin Wolfhard fans out there.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the 5 movies I probably liked the least from 2024. Brothers with Peter Dinklage and Josh Brolin. It just was a comedy that I did not find funny. Mary, which was a retelling of the Mary and Joseph nativity story. I did not like it. Hitman, I just found it ethically just abhorrent. I just could not understand following these people as like the heroes of our film. Damsel, which was what's her name from
Millie Bobby Brown.
Billy Bobby Brown as like a dragon slayer, and this movie was pretty silly. And then Ricky Stenicki, which I thought was just so dumb. So those are my least favorite.
And did you watch that recently, Ricky Stenicki?
No.
Well, I just mean like towards the end of the year.
No.
Oh, okay. I don't know when it came out. So
some point. Didn't we talk about it on the show?
I don't think so. We had talked about talking about it, but I think we skipped it for something else.
Yeah, I did not see that one for the show.
I think I watched it for the show and then we changed it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Have you seen it?
No.
Can you imagine?
I heard it was bad.
Well, if you ever want a treat,
that's all right.
Don't watch that.
Kyle?
All right. So 4 of the 5 of my worst of 2024 were movies we watched for the podcast.
Okay.
So ever since I joined this podcast, I just started watching worse movies.
Sure.
If I wasn't here, I'll have one worst movie of the year instead of 5. So no. All right. My number 5 is Damsel, the Millie Bobby Brown Dragon Slayer movie. That movie was silly and dark and pointless. Dark as in literally in a cave dark, not as in like Never Let Go dark. Number 4, Brothers, the Peter Dinklage, Josh Brolin comedy caper. It wasn't funny. I didn't get it. Number 3, Megalopolis. I just did not. I don't know. I guess I enjoyed. I don't know. I didn't like that movie. That's why it's the number 3. It's a weird movie. It's a lot going on there. And I think after a while, I was like, nope, not enjoy this anymore. Number 2, my only non-podcast movie, Despicable Me 4. I like this series for the most part. They're always been fine to watchable, to enjoyable. And this one was just, it really felt like, let's just crank out a movie. Like there was really no plot. There was a bunch of subplots. There was no story to follow. It was just things happening on screen. It really was like colors and shapes and noises that kids are going to like. And I was so happy when this movie was finished. But not as happy as when Rebel Moon Part 2: The Scargiver was done. Because besides its own wild robots, which I liked 3 wild robot movies this year, or 3 wild robot characters this year, including the one in this movie. But the rest of this movie is trash.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right. We watched a bunch of 2024 movies, but we also watched a bunch of non-2024 movies this year. This is our top 10 favorite non-2024 movies watched for the first time in 2024. I've got a lot of Criterion movies on my list. Number 10, Easy Rider from 1969. I had never seen this. It was fine. I mean, to be honest, everything from 8 and up is a 4, and everything from 9 down is a 3.5.
Okay.
So I didn't have any like 5-star movies non-2024 that I watched this year, which doesn't mean they were bad movies. They just weren't 5 stars for me. So Easy Rider, it was fine, but it's a little too, I don't know. I expected there to be more of a plot, and instead it's just a bunch of guys riding around on motorcycles.
Yes, New Hollywood.
Right. And I was just like, okay, I experienced it. I can move on now. I preferred bike riders.
James is a Silver Age of Hollywood movie critic. Yeah. I just rode on motorcycles all day. Yeah.
Number 9, Band of Outsiders. I enjoyed that from 1964. Number 8, Married to the Mob, 1988. Fun comedy I had never seen before. Not a Criterion movie, but a good one. Dragon Slayer from 1981. I think I watched this because of Damsel.
Yeah, we all did.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah.
I liked that movie. Ran from 1985. Turned out to be a 4-star movie for me. I liked Ran. I especially liked the coloring of each individual army in Ran. Made it super easy to follow. Loved it. Dressed to Kill from 1980 was a erotic thriller that I enjoyed. Forget who directed that, but it's like Jonathan Demme or somebody like that. Hell in the Pacific from 1968 was great. If you guys haven't seen this one, it's about an American pilot who gets marooned on an island during World War II, I think, and finds that there's a Japanese pilot who's also marooned on the island. And so they are trying to kill each other at the beginning of the movie, and then slowly realize that, like, if I kill the other guy, I'm on this island alone, basically. And so they kind of become reluctant friends over the course of the film. And it's a good one. Number 3, An Actor's Revenge from 1963. This one came out of nowhere for me. I just pulled it off the shelf and watched the Blu-ray blind. And this movie's amazing looking, for sure. It's basically like a guy who directed stage plays directed this movie about an actor who cross-dresses, and even like his closest friends don't know he's male. He always plays female characters. And so the movie tells of why somebody would do that. It's all kind of in the title, An Actor's Revenge. But the reason to watch this is because the director who traditionally directed stage plays directed this movie, and every scene is kind of like the scene from what's the movie with the guy who eats the noodles? He's stuck in the room. Old Boy. So you know the side scrolling scene that everybody points to? Like almost the entire movie is kind of like that in Actor's Revenge. And quite often he would actually have like no edges to the screen. So like it would all just kind of fade off into black or some other color. And so that was interesting too. It was just a visually impressive movie, and the plot was good enough, basically. Number 2, Hitchcock's Rebecca. I saw that for the first time this year and enjoyed it. And my favorite movie, non-2024 movie that I watched last year was The 39 Steps, which I had never seen before. And it was good. Yeah.
The 39 Steps was the first, like, what Kyle calls list movie that I watched.
Okay.
It was the first one that I intentionally watched because it was on a lot of lists.
Sure.
And I was like, oh, okay, interesting. Kind of like this.
It was good. It intrigued me, and I wasn't bored.
I'll go next. My number 10 was American Fiction. This is about the author that is like, respected author who takes his writing seriously, but then he's seen people write these like pandering, urban culture kind of things that's using stereotypes for Black people, get a lot of success, and he writes one as a joke and it gets a lot of success, and so he has to deal with that. I really like how that movie ends. It's got a cool ending. My number 9 is Little Shop of Horrors, which ended up being a musical. Who knew?
Sure. You didn't know that, huh?
I did not know that. And,
there's so many people in that movie too that you wouldn't even know that was in there.
Oh, for sure. 100% amazing performance from Steve Martin. Fantastic Steve Martin role in that movie.
For sure.
You didn't watch that in high school like I did?
I did not know.
Like in class? Interesting. Okay.
You watched it in class? What class?
I had Miss Gump for like 10th grade language arts.
Okay.
And we watched Little Shop.
Feels raunchy for public school.
Yeah. It was high school. It's fine.
Sure.
We also watched the Romeo and Juliet where Olivia Hussey's naked in like 9th grade.
Yeah, but my teacher, Mrs. Parsons, stood in front of the TV.
Oh, okay. Well, so you had her for what grade?
I had her for 9th grade and 12th grade.
Okay. I had a different teacher who was older than Miss Parsons, shockingly. And I remember that scene happened. I turned to the teacher. And I think I said something to her, and she was like, "It's PG, you prude," or something like that. I was just like, okay.
That's funny. That actress just recently died, like 2 weeks
Olivia
ago.
Hussey, she did, yes. And she also recently was like, yeah, I didn't want to be naked in that movie.
Yeah, I think she sued.
She sued because I think she's like 16 when she made that movie. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Number 8 was The Dragon That Wasn't or Was He, which was a listener suggestion, a cartoon that I enjoyed and my kids enjoyed as well. Number 7 is Calvinist, which is a documentary about Calvinism. But it's just really well put together. I just really appreciate a well designed kind of documentary, where it just has a really good sense of itself, and it's very well designed visually. Number 6 is Homicide, which is about like the kind of underground criminal element trying to undo the Jews, and then the Jewish underground that's trying to like fight back. And it's by Mamet, and it's just really interesting thriller. Number 5 is Roadhouse. This is the original 80s Roadhouse. And I'd never seen it, and it was pretty awesome. It was really a fun movie. Number 4 is Anatomy of a Fall that came out in 2023. 3 is Poor Things. 2 is Wonka, which surprised me. I did not expect to like that movie as much as I did, but it was a super fun movie. And number 1 was Oleana, which is another Mamet movie. It's pretty much a 3-act play, and it stars William H. Macy as a professor who's accused by a student of responding inappropriately in a private conversation. And we, in this 3-act play, we actually see the conversation, then we see them talking about the conversation, and then we revisit them after there's aftermath from the conversation. And it's very well acted and very interesting to watch. So that was my favorite movie, not from 2024, that I watched in 2024.
Nice. I'm going to say that 6 out of my 10 movies on this list, James somehow recommended to me or is connected to.
Okay.
So
is this
James,
because you went through my top 100?
That's part of the reason why. But
Brat Patrol better be on here.
I did watch Brat Patrol. It will come up at some point. Not on this list, though. But sure. I have thoughts on Brat Patrol. All right. My number 10 is Straight Outta Compton from 2016. This is the biopic about NWA. And it was really well acted. A lot of great people in that movie. I don't know why it took so long to watch it, but I really enjoyed it. Number 9, The Parallax View. This is a paranoid thriller starring Moonlight Winds. What's the guy's name? I can't think of his name right now. Warren Beatty. Definitely a unique looking paranoid thriller. A lot of them came out in the 70s. This one's got a little special something going on to it with its filmmaking. I liked it a lot. Number 8, Roadhouse, the 80s version that you mentioned, Zach. This movie is very campy, but in all the best ways. Really enjoyed it. Number 7, Wild Rose. This is a Jessie Buckley movie that James recommended to me about her playing an Irish singer who can't quite get her act together. Another great Jessie Buckley performance. Number 6, this is an odd one. This is Metalocalypse, the Doomstar Requiem - a clock opera, and that's clock KLOK. Metalocalypse is a Adult Swim TV show about a fictional death metal band. And when the series ended, they ended with a hour-long metal opera, essentially. Usually the episodes are 15 minutes long, so they went like 4 times as long. And it's great. The music is great. It's funny. It's like all the best things about Metalocalypse are in this hour-long rock opera special. They then made a movie a couple years later to like wrap up the entire story, and that was fine. It was just like, it wasn't fun. It was too broody. But the Doomstar Requiem is a perfect mix of everything that makes Metalocalypse super fun. Number 5, Parenthood on James's top 100. This movie is good. Well acted, super funny, a lot of great people in it. Yeah, no notes. Number 4, Crank, the Jason Statham movie, where he needs to keep his heart rate going. It's like Speed, but for your heart, and it's wild. It's a small budget movie, a low budget movie, so there's like this indie streak to it, which just kind of makes it a lot of fun. And Jason Statham is doing everything in this movie.
Not everything. You haven't seen Crank 2 High Voltage yet.
So that's next. That's next on the list.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also great.
Yeah.
Number 3, The Proposition. This is a Western set in Australia that James recommended from his top 100. Really like that. Number 2, The Mission, also on James's top 100. This is Robert De Niro and Jeremy Irons playing missionaries in South America in sort of that era of missionaries, like 19th century. And it's an epic. It's really good. And then my favorite movie that's non-2024 that I watched this year is Brooklyn from 2015.
Nice.
Saoirse Ronan movie. Yes. Yeah. Which James, I don't think this is on your top 100. Is this on your top 100?
I don't know if it's in my top 100, but it's pretty high.
I don't think it is, but you gave it to me. And I wanted to, and then we talked about it because we just Saoirse Ronan anyway. Yeah, I always thought this movie before I saw it, I knew it was Saoirse Ronan. I thought it was like an immigrant love story movie. And that's a part of it, but it really is just an immigrant story and her story. And I just thought she was incredible in it, and it looks really beautiful. And I was really impressed with Brooklyn.
Nice. We weren't impressed with everything we saw last year, though, even though it didn't come out in 2024. This is our top 5 worst non-2024 movies that we watched for the first time in 2024. I got to be honest, in looking at my list, I don't remember half of these movies, which is probably a good sign. My number 5, The Missouri Breaks from 1976. Anybody heard of that?
Never heard of it.
Yeah.
No.
I have no clue why I watched that movie. Nintendo Quest, which was a documentary from 2015 about a guy who's trying to get like every Nintendo game.
Okay.
And it was bad. It was not a good documentary for sure. For some reason, I watched all of it. The Invasion from 2007 was my number 3, which is like a Invasion of the Body Snatchers reboot that had like a really good cast that I'm drawing a blank on, but it has like big time actors in it, and I had never heard of it. I was like, how come I've never heard of this? Well, it's because it's awful. My number 2 was Modern Problems from 1981, which was dubbed a comedy that I had never seen before from the early 80s. It looked interesting. I watched it, and it was bad, I would say, to put it lightly. And Neighbors from 1981 is also another comedy from the early 80s. I had never seen before, but I remembered seeing on the rental shelves. And then when it came across me on a streaming website, I was like, all right, I'll watch that. And it was not good. My least favorite movie from last year.
So I went to make this list, and I just didn't have any movies that deserved to be on a bottom list like this.
Oh, great.
And I was like, I'm not just going to make a movies that I like kind of liked as the top, bottom 5. So
sure,
I'm just going to skip this list this year.
Lucky you.
Okay. Zach likes everything he watches.
Yeah.
Well, since Zach didn't have a list, I'm just going to quickly throw in 2 documentaries I watched last year that I liked. It's actually the only 2 documentaries I watched last year, but I like both of them. And they're both actually directed by the same directing team of Jimmy Chu and I should know her name, his wife, but I feel terrible saying Jimmy Chu and his wife. But my apologies to her. The first one is Free Solo, and this is about the first person to free solo El Capitan. It's an incredible documentary and an incredible feat, and you really don't know what's going to happen to this guy as he's taking on this task. And then the other one is The Rescue, and this is about the Thai cave rescue, the Thai soccer team. And that's another documentary that was just really engaging to watch. So shout out to those 2. All right. My 5 worst non-2024 movies. If James was responsible for 60% of my favorite non-2024, he was also responsible for 40% of my least favorite non-2024.
Okay. Nice.
Number 5 is The Miracle Club. Megan and I were like watching female-led Irish comedies together. And when you think Irish comedy, you obviously think of Laura Linney, Maggie Smith, and Kathy Bates.
Sure. Why
3
not?
famous Irish actors.
Hmm.
This is a boring movie. Number 4, Beverly Hills Cop 3. This is the third Beverly Hills Cop movie, obviously. And it's when Eddie Murphy's trying to be like a serious action star. And he's not trying to be funny. And it's just not very enjoyable. It's kind of a boring movie. Number 3, Trapped in Paradise, the Nicolas Cage Christmas movie that James picked.
Mm-hmm.
Not great. Number 2, Rambo from 2008. I watched this because one of my resolutions was to watch on the movies I own. And I own this because I bought all 4 movies at a digital pack. And no one seems to want to be in this movie, including Sylvester Stallone. It is gory to a pointless extent. And I was happy when it was over. And then my number 1 worst movie of 2024, and this was a clear number 1. This was a chore to watch. I could not wait till it was done. And I wish this movie had blinded me. Blindness. Such a downer of a movie. But also such an obvious movie at the same time. Like, it's not doing anything different or unique or new. It's just, what if they're blind?
I love it.
I know you do. That's why I was on your top 100.
Nice. We also made some random lists that we didn't tell each other about. We always do this every year where we just make a list of whatever comes to mind. It could be movie related, could not be. Who knows? I made one list this year. I made the top 10 long form videos of 2024.
Yes.
So these are mostly YouTube videos, I would say. Well, you can find them all on YouTube. But they're not like short viral clips. They're deeply researched topics, I would say, mostly. My number 10, The Map of Board Games by Domain of Science, which is great. It's basically a guy who drew a poster of like all the different elements of board games, like style of play, you know, just like all these different subcategories. And then he made a video talking about why he put what he put on the map and why it's in this spot versus this spot and like all these different games that are related to it. It was great. I got really sucked into it. My number 9, I made alternative posters for epic movies by Phase Runner. Just a graphic designer who takes 3 classic movies and makes his own posters for them. Super interesting to see this guy work. Number 8, The Secret Inside 1 Million Checkboxes. There's a website that has 1 million checkboxes on it. And he crowdsourced people checking the checkboxes. And you could also uncheck any checkbox that anybody else unchecked. What's insane about this project is like having a browser not crash and have 1 million checkboxes that are checked and unchecked at any given time is like a technological feat. It's insane, basically, that somebody figured out how to program this. And so he made a YouTube video about a group of kids who figured out that there were hidden messages inside the checkboxes on his website. And so it's like an investigation type thing. It's a weird YouTube video, but very good. Number 7, The Legacy of Skateboard Tricks That Can't Be Landed. It's just skateboarders talking about different tricks and how many times people have attempted them at this spot or that spot, and why they'll probably never be like actually completed. Found it interesting. My number 6, building a $30,000 Lego model. If you like pirate Legos, this is the video for you. It's like somebody building a pirate world and walking you through exactly what he made, why he made it, why he made choices, this and that. It was great, by Brick Crafts. Number 5, What Really Happened at the World Jigsaw Puzzle Championships by Karen Puzzles. If you didn't know, there's such a thing as puzzle championships where you're doing puzzles as fast as you possibly can. this person makes videos at the World event, and this year's video was pretty great. Number 4, Kendrick Lamar. This isn't necessarily a video essay, but Kendrick Lamar performing "Not Like Us" live for 15 minutes straight at the Forum in LA was pretty wild, and some of the most interesting footage of any event I saw all year. I mean, it was crazy. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but
No.
if you knew anything about, you guys know about the Drake and Kendrick beef that happened this year, right?
Yeah,
Of course.
I'm not deep seated
Sure.
into it, but
So Kendrick won it basically with the song "Not Like Us," and then he rented out the LA Forum, gave away all the tickets, and invited all his friends to celebrate him winning the beef. And he played the song that kind of like was the nail in the coffin 5 times in a row, and each time pulled out more and more LA-based rap legends to like help him with it. And by the end of this 15-minute sequence, there's like 80 people standing on the stage singing the song with him.
And
It
like
was,
guys from like rival gangs and like that had
Right.
like beefs with each other. Yeah.
It was wild. It was great. My number 3, no CGI is really just invisible CGI, which is a great series on YouTube by the movie Rabbit Hole, where he talks about the difference between effects, CGI, computer enhanced things versus things created by whole cloth. And also why when filmmakers say there's no CGI in their thing, it's kind of disrespectful. And like,
there's CGI.
it shouldn't really be a marketing point if that your thing has CGI or doesn't, because it reflects negatively on the people in those industries. A good series, definitely. Number 2, The History of Tetris World Records by Summoning Salt. I don't really care about Tetris other than it's a game I played when I was a kid. I don't really care about Tetris World Records, but man, I got sucked into this dumb YouTube documentary. It was so well done. And now I know all about it, and I'm okay with that. And my favorite YouTube video, long form YouTube video of last year, The Spectacular Failure of the Star Wars Hotel by Jenny Nicholson.
It's a great video.
Which is a great 4-hour video where she's just detailing her experience at the short-lived Star Wars hotel on Disney property, and humorously, entertainingly just laying out why it didn't live up to her expectations, even though, and she sets this up perfectly, she is the perfect person to have enjoyed the Star Wars hotel. Which they just announced what they're going to do with the Star Wars hotel building. They're moving a special projects unit of the Imagineers into that building. So it's going to become like basically an office building. Which is interesting, considering how much money they spent to build that thing. It's like the most expensive office experience. Building. Plus, like, who wants to go work in an office building with no windows? That's the problem, is they built a building with no windows in it.
I've done it.
I mean, I worked in a room with you, Zach, in a room with no windows, and I can tell you it's not great.
When I'm in the lab, our lab is windowless.
Yeah.
Nothing down there. It happens.
How about you guys?
Well, I only have one list.
Okay.
But as you guys know, the primary way that I pick if I'm going to watch a movie or not is by how many people appear on the movie poster. The more, the better, obviously.
Right, of course. Yeah.
And so here are my top 6 most number of people that appear on the movie poster.
Okay.
This is why Avengers Endgame is your favorite movie of all time.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Yeah.
And I would venture to guess, this has not been proven, but perhaps the number 1 movie on this list is also has the most number of people of any movie poster this year. I need to double check this. Okay, so my number 6 is 6888 with 7 people on the movie poster.
Okay.
Okay. There's
All
7
right.
people on that movie poster. We also see some planes in the background. I assume there are people in the planes, but we don't see the people, not counting them. I got to see the people.
Okay.
Okay. With my number 5, with 8, it's What's Inside. There's 8 people on that movie poster.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
It's pretty awesome. My number 4 with 9, it's Inside Out 2. Now, technically, they're not people; they are feelings, but they're personified, and they're on the cover.
They're characters.
Yeah, 9.
Sure.
With 10 at my number 3 is Furiosa: A Mad Max Saga. There's 10 people on that cover, which
Really?
is an impressive number of people on a cover.
Wow. Okay.
My number 2 movie posters with the most number of people that I watched this year at 18 is The Disruptors. This has an impressive 18 people on the movie poster, which is a logistical feat, I think. And I think the movie was improved by that. And then my number 1 most number of people on a movie poster. Any guesses, guys? Any guesses?
Hundreds of beavers.
No.
I don't know.
No.
With 25 people, it is Saturday night.
Yeah.
This is the first night. Not only does it have 25 people, it also has a portrait of another person. It has a llama, a shark, and 2 Muppets. So an incredible showing from Saturday night on its movie poster. And I've yet to find a 2024 movie poster with more people than Saturday night. So if you are aware of one, let me know.
All right.
I made 2 lists, but I want to save one for movie resolution. So I'm just going to do one right now.
Okay.
So Letterboxd has a great stats page. I think if you're a pro or Patreon member, it'll give you all these crazy stats about your year and movies you've watched. And they've added something new this year called themes and nanogenres. And they've assigned themes and nanogenres to all their movies, and then it'll kind of give you a list of like your top themes and nanogenres. So my top theme of 2024 was crude humor and satire. I watched 30 movies that had that tag to it. So of those 30 movies, I took my 10 favorite and then I ranked them by how crude the humor and satire is in each one. So you guys can kind of hear my list. You can agree or disagree if you how you feel about these placements. Number 10, Ocean's 11. Found this to be the least crude of all the movies I saw. Number 9, Home Alone. Number 8, Be Kind, Rewind. Number 7, 8-Bit Christmas. I don't know if you remember this one. This is about the kids trying to get a Nintendo for Christmas and become a yearly watch in our household.
Nice.
Okay.
Number 6, Home Alone 2. I think we could agree that Home Alone 2 is a little cruder than Home Alone.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
A little bit.
Can we
Number
agree on that?
5, Home Alone 2's got a lot more people getting hit in body parts in it than Home Alone.
It's got the same number of those things. They're just more intense.
I think it's got more.
It's
cruder.
more people.
Hence, I made this list. No. More moments of the same people getting hit in various body parts by heavy objects.
Maybe. I'd have to really think about that.
I would say Home Alone's more intense. Home Alone takes all of its moments and puts them together in one, like 15-minute sequence.
Sure.
Home Alone 2 spreads them out. Anyway, number 5, Office Space. Pretty crude.
Yeah.
Number 4, Clue.
Yeah.
Number 3, Hot Shots! Exclamation point Part 2.
Yeah.
Yep. Number 2, Beverly Hills Cop. And then I think the crudest and most satirical movie that I watched this year is Life of Brian, the Monty Python parody of
Sure.
the story of Jesus.
It's pretty crude. I agree.
Pretty crude, pretty satirical.
Nice. Fun list, guys. I appreciated both of those. Let's talk 2025, right? Every year we make movie resolutions, although I don't know why we do. Because in looking at my list, I think I almost never do them, even though
you
we
didn't
make
do your list this year.
I mean, Okay, so let's talk about the movie resolutions we made last year, and then we'll go into this year's. So last year I resolved that I would blind watch 15 Criterion Collection Blu-rays I already own. So only movies I had never seen before and movies that I had already owned at the beginning of 2024. Didn't do that, but I did watch 6 of them.
Okay.
So I didn't get to 15, but I did about a third of my obligation. I also vowed that I was going to watch one movie, just one movie from the 1920s. Didn't do that. Didn't watch a single movie from the 1920s. I mean, they just didn't make them back then, so it's hard to find them. So
yeah, there are no movies from the 1920s is the problem.
Right.
It's not like you didn't watch a remake of a movie from the 20s this year or last year.
Yeah, sure. You could have watched Nosferatu. Perfect opportunity.
Yeah.
I guess. And then the last resolution I did not do was watch the remaining Yorgos Lanthimos movies I haven't seen. Still haven't done that.
Still on the list.
Yep, still on the list.
You're waiting for the hype to go down?
At this point, yes, that's why. I didn't really have a reason, but now that you mention it, that's the reason.
I mean, we did get 2 Yorgos Lanthimos in a row here, so that 1-2 punch of Poor Things Kinds of Kindness.
I did make 3 new movie resolutions, though. I'm going to watch a movie from the 1920s. Just one movie.
Okay.
I'm going to blind watch more Criterion Collection movies on Blu-ray than I did last year. So I got to watch more than 6.
Okay.
And I'm going to watch those remaining Yorgos Lanthimos movies. I don't care how big the hype is. I'm going to get to them.
Wow. You're going to break through the hype.
Yep.
All right.
How'd you guys do? And what did you make for this year?
Well, I wanted to watch more documentaries, and I did.
Okay.
Last year I watched 2. This year I watched 4. So I've doubled the number of
Nice.
documentaries that I desired to watch. It still shocks me. I feel like I watch a lot of documentaries, but apparently I don't.
Sure.
I wanted to watch more movies that I own but haven't yet seen.
Mhm.
And I did. Yes, I did complete that resolution because last year I watched 1 movie I owned that I hadn't seen. And this year I watched 5
Nice.
that I owned that I hadn't seen. And I wanted to sell ones that I don't want.
Mhm.
And I've sold some of them.
Okay.
So that is
Nice.
partially completed. Yeah. But I have a whole box next to me of DVDs or Blu-rays that I want to sell.
Nice.
For resolutions for this year, I want to watch more 2025 movies than I watch 2024 movies.
Okay.
So that number to beat is 41. And I want to watch more older and obscure movies. So I would like to find movies that I enjoy that are not talked about. So an old movie that no one's heard of that I can discover as like, this is a hidden gem. I want to find old hidden gems.
Good luck. You're going to have to watch a lot of weird stuff.
Old movies that no one's heard of.
Right.
That have lasted the test of time.
Yes, exactly.
I want to watch more lost movies from the 30s that are decomposed in some attic.
Yes, me too.
Nice.
All right. I made 3 resolutions in 2024. The first one was to watch the movies that I own. There are 9 movies I own I have not watched. I did watch Kronk's New Groove, Rambo, Brooklyn, Conan the Destroyer, and Predators. I did not watch House of Flying Daggers, One from the Heart, Tetro, or The Bourne Legacy. So about 50% of completion on that one. My second resolution was to finish Zach's top 100. I finished this once, and he has updated it. I had 2 movies to watch. They were Free Solo and Burning. Again, 50% completion. I watched Free Solo, did not watch Burning, so did not complete Zach's top 100.
But you liked Free Solo.
But I did like Free Solo, though, yes. But my third resolution was to finish James' top 100. There's 9 movies, and I did this. I completed this. I watched all 9 movies of James' top 100, And I'm going to rank them for you real quick.
Okay.
Number 9, Blindness. No shock there. Least favorite movie I watched of all the movies
Blindness
I watched in 2024.
above Brat Patrol. That's amazing.
That's number 9. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That is the least favorite of all yours. Number 8, The Brat Patrol. It's unfair to rank this movie because it's like a made-for-TV kids movie that if you were like a kid in 85, you'd like this movie. Like, I can understand why you liked it at the time. Sean Astin's riding his skateboard. He's talking back to authority. I was watching this like, I can't really review this movie. It's not fair. So
it's like so obscure that like when Disney Plus came out and they put all their stuff on Disney Plus, like this didn't come for some reason.
Oh yeah, I watched this on YouTube,
right.
And there's like 4 rips on YouTube, so I found the best one.
Yeah,
and I was able to. Yeah. Number 7, Tron Legacy. It looks cool. It sounds cool. It isn't cool. It's just trying to trick you into being cool. Number 6, Kids. This is a notorious movie. I remember this being advertised a lot when I was a teenager. And I'm very mixed on this movie. It's raw, it's real, it's well performed, and it's not a fun watch either. So, but in movies that I did enjoy a little bit more, number 5, Brotherhood of the Wolf. Very genre-y movie. Really liked it. Number 4, I mentioned this already, Parenthood. Number 3, already mentioned The Proposition. Number 2, Miss Bala. Had trouble finding this one. It's hard to find the original. This movie is quite a downer, James. I was waiting for this movie to turn.
Sure.
And it never does. Spoiler alert.
So well made, though.
It's really well made. There's a lot of great long tracking shots. There's an action scene where you see the whole thing just from like a character's viewpoint inside a car. So you're just imagining what's happening outside of them. The central performance, it's a really good movie. But I was like, oh, this is depressing. It's not getting better.
They remade it here in the US and it was so bad.
I read the plot synopsis with Gina Rodriguez and it seems like, they tried to make it a little more Hollywood friendly. Yeah. And then number 1, I mentioned this already, The Mission. This was a really good movie and I really enjoyed watching it. So
nice.
Thank you, James.
Awesome.
All right. I made 4 resolutions for 2025 because, I couldn't complete 3 last year. So let's try 4 this year instead.
All right.
Number 1, I'm going to finish Zach's top 100.
Only one movie.
I watched one movie.
Only one really good movie. Burning is like really good.
Yeah, but every time you guys say that, I still don't want to watch it.
He's gonna 45-minute rule it because it's
no. I have not
slow.
45-minute. Trust me, if any movie I wanted a 45-minute rule, it was Blindness, but I did not because I'm a man of principle. All right, I still want to watch the 7 movies I don't own. Besides the ones I mentioned already, I've also gained Boys in the Hood, The Hidden Fortress, and Mongol this year. So I'm gonna get through those.
Nice.
This has been one I want to do for a long time, and I'm going to try and do it this year. I want to finish the IMDb top 250. Only have 12 to go, which is 1 a month. However, it's 1,700 minutes of movie, which is an average of 2.3 hours per movie on the IMDb top 250 that I've not seen, because most of them are 3-hour long Indian Bollywood films.
Right. Oh yeah.
Yikes.
So that's one reason why I've not finished that list. And then finally, I know that I watched less movies this year than the previous year. I also ran some numbers. It turns out the average year of release of movies that I watched in 2024 was from 2016. And if you look at all my Letterboxd and iCheck Movies data before that, every other year, the average is in the 2000s or below. So I watched a lot of really recent movies in 2016 or in 2024, and I want to watch more older movies in 2025, not just things from the last 20, 30 years, but more movies from the 20s and 30s and 40s, which I did not watch any movies from that half of the century in 2024. So
nice.
Very cool.
Love it. All right. Moving on in 2025, more 2025 related lists. This is our top 10 most anticipated movies of 2025. So These aren't necessarily the movies we expect to be the best, but they have something that is keeping them towards the top of our brains as far as anticipation goes. My number 10, Captain America: Brave New World. I really want to like Marvel movies again. And I'm not fully convinced that this is going to be the one to do it, but I do like the idea of them going back to like political thriller, but as a superhero movie. Like I really liked that element of the Captain America series. We haven't had a Captain America movie in a while. This one's got a brand new Captain America in it. I'm hoping for good things.
A cool president.
Yep. Yeah. It's fun to see old Harrison Ford in there as well. My number 9, 28 Years Later, which is the third movie in the later series. And Danny Boyle comes back to direct this one. I don't know much about it, but I'm in. Number 8, Mission: Impossible - The Final Reckoning. As much as I didn't like the last one, I got to see this thing wrapped up, right? So
yeah.
My number 8. Number 7, The Fantastic Four: First Steps. The marketing on this one is odd. And I'm hoping that it's interesting or fun or any of those types of things. Again, another Marvel movie that I hope pays off. Number 6, Avatar: Fire and Ash. Not sure I'm ready for another Avatar movie, but so far they haven't let me down. Number 5, The Running Man, which is a remake of the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie by Edgar Wright. Feels like it's been a while since I've seen an Edgar Wright movie that worked for me. So looking forward to that. My number 4, Warfare, which is Alex Garland co-directing a movie. This is a real-time action thriller focused on a group of American soldiers in Iraq who find themselves pinned down in enemy territory. And this is the guy he's co-directing with is the guy who was his military consultant on Civil War.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether this is going to be good, but it's Alex Garland doing another war movie. So I'm in. Number 3, Tron: Ares. They're really slow rolling these Tron movies, but I like the last one and the first one. And hopefully I will enjoy this third one. Also, the idea that like 9 Inch Nails is coming out of retirement to do a soundtrack. And it's not like Trent Reznor. It's just the band 9 Inch Nails. It's weird for him to do that with the band 9 Inch Nails. So I'm curious to see what's up with that. Number 2, One Battle After Another, which comes out in August. It's Paul Thomas Anderson's new movie starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Sean Penn, and Regina Hall. Don't know anything about it, but it's been a while for a PTA movie, and I am ready for it. And number 1, won't have to wait too long for Mickey 17 from Bong Joon-ho. His follow-up to Parasite. Has it been that long since he's directed a movie?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. This one has, what's his name from Twilight? What's that guy's name?
Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson is in the lead role. It looks like a comedic sci-fi movie. I don't know much about it. Trying to stay as spoiler-free as possible on this one, but my most anticipated movie of 2025. What did you guys have?
So I could do my top 10, but I also have more than that. Can I just do more? Is that okay?
Sure.
All right. I got 1 vote of assent. Anne Lee, directed by Mona Fastvold. This is a Amanda Seyfried movie. And here's the plot. An epic fable about religious leader Anne Lee, the founding leader of the Shaker movement, who was proclaimed by her followers as the female Christ and went on to build one of the largest utopian societies in American history. That sounds like an interesting plot to me.
Yeah.
So I am
never heard of any of those words.
The next Knives Out mystery may come out this year. This is Ryan Johnson's Wake Up Dead Man. And it has great people in it. Mila Kunis is going to be in this one. Kaylee Spaney is going to be in it. So I think it's gonna be good.
Nice.
In the Hand of Dante. It's a Julian Schnabel movie starring Oscar Isaac and Gal Gadot. Also has Al Pacino, John Malkovich, Scorsese, Gerard Butler. It's got a bunch of people. And the plot is basically there's a manuscript of the Divine Comedy that is in the black market, and someone has to authenticate it. And then there's like there's a parallel between the descent into hell that Dante describes in the Divine Comedy and the like gritty mob underworld that Oscar Isaac has to go through. So it sounds like a great cast, interesting plot. It could be pretty awesome. It's a crime thriller. Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die is a Gore Verbinski movie starring Sam Rockwell. And the plot of this is a man from the future arrives at a diner in Los Angeles where he must recruit the precise combination of disgruntled patrons to join him on a one-night 6-block quest to save the world from a terminal threat of rogue artificial intelligence.
Sounds wild.
Yes, and that movie with Sam Rockwell and Michael Pena, that's going to be a fun time. And it's Gore Verbinski directed it, so I am intrigued to see that. Friendship, directed by Andrew DeYoung, and this stars Paul Rudd and Tim Robinson. And Tim Robinson, I've seen in his Netflix specials, and he's absolutely hilarious. And I think him and Paul Rudd would be great together. So I'd love to see that.
I don't know who Tim
Robinson is. He's a stand-up comedian,
is.
correct? Tim.
What's that?
He's a stand-up comedian. Did he have like a show on? No.
Well, I don't know him as a stand-up comedian. But yeah, he has a series of specials now on Netflix.
Okay.
Called I Think You Should Leave.
Oh, that guy. Yeah. I know.
Yeah. James, have you seen I Think You Can Leave? I Think You Should Leave?
No. It's good.
This is amazing. It's a Netflix comedy special. It's like a series of skits almost. And it's so funny. It's really great. I think you'll like it right away, or you won't like it. But he's just crazy. Okay, Eddington, directed by Ari Aster, has a Joaquin Phoenix and Emma Stone movie coming out about a sheriff. And I don't know what that means, but I would be interested in what Ari Aster has to do with Joaquin Phoenix and Emma Stone and Austin Butler and Pedro Pascal as a sheriff. So bring it on, Eddington. There's Die, My Love, directed by Lynn Ramsey. And this stars Jennifer Lawrence and Robert Pattinson. It also has Lakeith Stanfield and Sissy Spacek. And it's a woman living in a remote rural area is driven to the brink of insanity by marriage and motherhood. And it's called Die, My Love. So I think it could get pretty crazy. And it's by the person that did We Need to Talk About Kevin. So I'm interested. There's The Bride, ! And that's directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal. And this stars Jessie Buckley and Christian Bale as Frankenstein and the Bride of Frankenstein. And I think they're actually I think Christian Bale's actually like Frankenstein's monster. And it looks like it's in black and white. It looks experimental and crazy. And I'm interested. Karate Kid : Legends. This stars Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio in a Karate Kid sequel. And
who plays the kid?
I'm into it. Ben Wang or Ben Wong. Okay. I don't know who. But just looking at the cover alone looks, it's like, I'm excited. That could be fun. All right, here's my top 10. Havoc.
Oh, wait, that was just another list of movies?
Well, that was just my overflow.
Okay.
These are the ones I'm legitimately super excited about. There's Havoc, directed by Gareth Evans. And this stars Tom Hardy, also has Forrest Whitaker in it. And basically, Tom Hardy has to fight his way out of the criminal underworld. And if you know anything about Gareth Evans, you know he did the Raid movies. So you have the Raid movies plus Tom Hardy is going to be so awesome. How could it not?
Nice.
Eden, directed by Ron Howard. This stars Jude Law and Sydney Sweeney. And it's a darkly comic tale of murder and survival, focusing on an eclectic group of characters who are abandoned on the Galapagos Island. And they basically recreate Eden on the Galapagos Island. And so Ana de Armas is in it. Paul Gleason. It's going to be an interesting movie, and it's directed by Ron Howard. Highest to Lowest, directed by Spike Lee. So this is a English reinterpretation of the Akira Kurosawa film High and Low, which is an amazing film.
Yes.
This is called Highest to Lowest, and it's by Spike Lee. So what is Spike Lee going to do with it, especially when he has Denzel Washington in the lead role?
I'm excited for that.
Yeah,
I was unaware of that movie. Yeah.
Yes. The Battle of Bacton Cross, which is the Paul Thomas Anderson film. I don't know anything about this movie, but if it's Paul Thomas Anderson, I'm very interested. It does star Leo DiCaprio and Benicio del Toro, Sean Penn, among others. So yeah, I'm interested when it comes out. Let's see what it is. The next Yorgos Lanthimos is coming out, Bugonia. It stars Emma Stone, Jesse Plemons, Alicia Silverstone. And it is about two conspiracy-obsessed young men kidnap the high-powered CEO of a major company, convinced that she's an alien intent on destroying planet Earth. So presumably Emma Stone plays the CEO, potential alien. It's going to be weird. Could be awesome. The Avenging Silence, directed by Nicholas Winding Refn. And this is about a former European spy accepts a confidential mission from a Japanese businessman exiled to France to take down the head of the Yakuza boss in Japan. So a Nicholas Winding Refn movie with the Yakuza. It's going to be in France. I think it's going to be awesome. So I'm excited. The Death of Robin Hood by Michael Sarnowski. This, I wasn't sure if I should include on the list or not, because I'm not terribly excited about this movie, but I will watch it with like morbid curiosity, because it's got a really great cast. It's Hugh Jackman as Robin Hood and Jodie Comer as Maid Marian. And those are, I would love to see those two as those roles. But it's billed as a darker reimagining of the classic Robin Hood tale, because they won't make a classic Robin Hood tale anymore. They will only make gritty, dark versions now. And we see a battle-worn loner grappling with his past after a life of crime and murder. He finds himself gravely injured in the hands of a mysterious woman who offers him a chance at salvation. So it's kind of like,
that sounds like a chore.
I know. Let's take all the fun stuff that we love about Robin Hood and replace it with like just all this downer,
Pathos.
Anti-hero type of stuff. Yeah. So I don't know. I put it on here because I want to love it. Hopefully I will love it, and it could be amazing. I trust these two actors. You guys like Pig, so I'm sure you'll love it. But yeah, I'm definitely going to want to see it. It doesn't sound like the Robin Hood that I'm hoping for, but we'll see what it is. The Untitled Catherine Bigelow political thriller. And this is directed by Catherine Bigelow, starring Idris Elba and Rebecca Ferguson. And it's a political thriller that will follow how the White House responds to ballistic missiles being launched at the United States. Now, I just very recently finished a book called Nuclear War. And it's a nonfiction book written by a reporter who basically interviewed everyone that could talk on the record about what happens if a missile gets launched at the U.S. And I kind of get the sense that this movie is going to be the same kind of like story as the book was. about basically what does the next 90 minutes look like if North Korea sends one nuclear weapon at the United States? What happens? Spoiler alert, we have about 90 minutes until the entire world is blown up. And it kind of happens automatically, and there's nothing that anyone can do to stop it. Anyways, as I was reading the book, I was like, this is going to make an amazing movie. And perhaps that's what Catherine Bigelow is doing. So interested in that. And then my probably number one most anticipated movie of 2025, it's called The Way of the Wind. And this is a Terrence Malick film that has been rumored to be coming out for the last few years. So there's no guarantee that it's actually coming out. But it is Terrence Malick's dramatization of the life of Christ. So I think Terrence Malick is such an interesting visual director. I'm always interested in his movies. And this is his Jesus movie. Mark Rylance is in it, who's fantastic. Joseph Fiennes is in it. A lot of people, I think I'm going to be very interested when this thing comes out to see it. So The Way of the Wind is my most anticipated.
Nice.
I hope he makes it a sword and sandals epic.
Yeah, me too.
All right. I am not as in tune with what's coming out next year. So I kind of scrubbed through Letterboxd, and alphabetically, here are 10 movies that sound interesting to me.
Okay.
But I'm sure I'm going to find things that are even more exciting as I dig more into it. So Avatar, Fire and Ash.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious to see what they do with the next one of these. We've all mentioned this one, The Battle of Bacton Cross, the PTA Leo movie. Definitely, I like everything PTA does. The Electric State. This is a new movie by the Russos. It takes place in a retro-futuristic past. It's a road movie. Listen to this cast. Millie Bobby Brown, Chris Pratt, Woody Harrelson, Ki-Hai Kwan, Giancarlo Esposito, Stanley Tucci, Anthony Mackie, Brian Cox, Jenny Slate, Billy Bob Thornton, Jason Alexander, Helen Hunt, Alan Tudyk, Holly Hunter, Hank Azaria.
They have like every generation in there.
And yeah, everyone's in this movie.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, could be bad. Who knows? But
Sure.
I'm interested. Elio, the new Pixar movie. It's about a boy who's obsessed with space travel and has an overactive imagination and kind of goes on these adventures. Love Hurts. This is another Ki-Hai Kwan movie. This is about a normal person being pulled back into their dark past, and I'm sure it's very action-oriented. Mickey 17, the Bong Joon-ho movie starring Robert Pattinson. I think it was supposed to come out in 2024, but it just got pushed to early 2025. Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. Kind of feel the same way. Want to see where the story goes.
Mm-hmm.
Predator Badlands. This is the follow-up to Prey by the same director as Prey. I think Dan Trachtenberg was his name.
Mm-hmm.
Is his name. And I liked Prey a lot, and I'm curious to see what he does with Predator Badlands. Sinners. This is the new Ryan Coogler, Michael B. Jordan collaboration. Michael B. Jordan plays twins in this movie who are trying to escape a nefarious past. And then Warfare, the co-directed Alex Garland movie. I really liked the action direction in Civil War. So I'm assuming Warfare is going to give me more of that.
Nice. Good ones. As we do every year, I'm now going to run down a bunch of new release movies that are coming out this year, and I need you guys to hot take them for me. All right?
Yes.
So these, I'll try to leave out the ones we've already mentioned, but if I double up on one, sorry. Starting with horror movies. First up, we've got The Damned.
Know nothing about this movie. Is it like a Village of the Damned?
I don't know. All I know
Universe?
is the title
Okay.
and that it's a horror movie. I'm pretty sure
Okay.
it's a Blumhouse movie.
I forgot to mention
Probably.
it.
Next up, we've got Wolfman, which is Lee Wanell, the director of Invisible Man. Came out with a movie that's in theaters now that's not doing very well, I would say.
So that was on my anticipated for 2024 last year.
Sure.
It got pushed, and then I heard not great things about it. So I'm okay skipping that one.
We got Presence, Steven Soderbergh. It's got 87% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's out right now, and it's shot entirely in the first-person perspective. I'm interested in that one. Companion.
Want to see that one?
Companion, another movie that's out in theaters right now that's like supposedly a horror comedy, has 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is insane.
Really?
I would have never guessed.
I've heard that's
that
a
movie.
great one to not know anything about going in.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Monkey, which is directed by the guy who directed Black Coat's Daughter, which Zach liked quite a bit.
That was good.
Based on a Stephen
What's the
King
monkey about?
short. I believe it's about a toy monkey that comes to life. And
Oh, is
murders
it one of those
everybody.
creepy ones that like bangs the cymbals together?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's it. Ash, which is a science fiction horror thriller directed by the music artist Flying Lotus.
I don't know any of those words.
Flying Lotus is good. If you like electronic music, he's good. But this movie is produced by Neil Blomkamp, which is a name I haven't heard in a long time. Death of a Unicorn, which is an A24 horror comedy starring Paul Rudd, Jenna Ortega, and Téa Leoni. Three names I never thought I'd see together.
Not interested.
Once Zach hears Téa Leoni, he's out.
Yeah.
How about maybe you'd be interested in Final Destination: Bloodlines.
It's just like Devon Sawa's kids are being haunted by death.
I don't know.
Okay.
The Black Phone 2.
Oh, I liked the Black Phone.
Me too.
I
don't need to see another one though.
I don't know why they need a sequel to that movie.
Right.
Though if it's Ethan Hawke, I'm probably going to see it again. I'll probably see it.
Sure. Megan 2.0. It's the sequel.
You know,
to the
I've been trying to
original
convince my
Megan.
wife that we should watch those movies.
Mm-hmm.
But she's like, well, there's no H in the name, so I don't have to watch it.
Nice. There's an untitled I Know What You Did Last Summer sequel coming out this year.
Bloodlines with Jennifer Love Hewitt's kids in it.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Oh, with her kids?
No, I was joking.
I mean, they have to, right? There's no chance it's about the same people that were in the originals.
I mean, maybe they're home for like a 30-year high school reunion.
They're still being chased by the hooked fisherman.
Yeah. I Know What You Did Last Summer, reunion.
Sure.
This thing writes itself.
The Conjuring, Last Rites.
Bloodlines.
And finally, for horror movies, Saw 11.
Bloodlines?
No,
Okay.
just Saw 11. Can you believe they made
Are we even sure it's the 11th?
it's
There's
Saw
such a complicated.
XI? So
But how many Saw movies have there been? Is my question.
I think 11. I think they've numbered them
10.
properly.
Yeah.
You're right.
I think it's kind of like Fast and Furious where they don't take place in chronological order in their world.
Mhm.
But yeah.
Next up, we've got comic book and video game adaptations. Captain America: Brave New World. We talked about Thunderbolts is another Marvel movie that's coming out this year that takes a bunch of the B enemies from all these other Marvel movies and throws them into a movie as a super team.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll see. There's a new Superman movie coming out this year, directed by James Gunn. Didn't make any of our lists, but it's happening.
I don't know what algorithm I'm on Facebook,
Mhm.
but all my suggestion posts are about new Superman. And half of them are like Snyder fans that hate it, and half of them are new fans who are saying Snyder fans shut up. I just don't know how I got like on this feed, but
Sure.
I just scroll and it's like Superman's cross-eyed. Superman looks like Christopher Reed. Superman is stupid. It's like, what is going on?
It looks interesting. Like just the way they shot it. It's like all fisheye lens, which seems odd for a Superman movie, but we'll see. The Toxic Avenger, which is directed by Macon Blair from Blue Ruin.
I heard this movie wasn't happening.
Oh, they already made it, so it's going to happen.
I heard this movie wasn't getting released.
Yeah, I mean, it came out at the beginning of this year at festivals.
Okay.
And they're saying it's going to be released this year. So I don't know. We'll see.
Do you guys remember the Toxic Avenger cartoon from when we were kids?
Yeah, I didn't watch it a lot, but I remember.
Okay. I had trading cards from like the TV show. Random memory, sorry.
Sure. A Minecraft movie is coming out this year.
Galen and I
yeah,
saw
that
we saw Dogman. We saw the trailer for this one. And Galen's like, oh, I think I want to see this movie now. Because the first trailer looked dumb, but he thought this trailer made it look good. So I might be seeing a Minecraft movie.
Nice. Five Nights at Freddy's 2. They got to make another one of those, of course.
Another one that Galen wants me to take him to, but not going to happen.
Let's get into the kids' movies. Kyle mentioned Dogman. That's in theaters right now.
Yeah, it's if you've got, I mean, I assume you probably haven't read the books, but for people who've read the books, it's a pretty faithful adaptation of the Dogman series. Yeah.
I have not read the books. I didn't even know they existed, to be honest.
It's the same guy who did Captain Underpants.
All right. The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie. We're getting a Looney Tunes movie this year.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Saw a trailer for that. Looks funny.
Okay.
We're getting 2 SpongeBob movies, Plankton the movie and the SpongeBob movie Search for SquarePants.
Bloodlines?
Bloodlines, yeah.
Okay.
Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Road Trip.
Okay.
I'm assuming that's,
that's
based
a
on
short
a kid's book.
Yeah, Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Bad, Very Good, whatever. But that's like a short book.
Sure.
Yeah. So okay.
Elio, which is the only, Kyle mentioned this, is the only animated movie I've been able to find that I'm interested in, to be honest.
Right.
The Bad Guys 2, Animal Friends, and we're finally getting a Zootopia 2 this year. Feels
it's
like
gonna be pretty popular, I think.
I think it is too, but it feels like they waited a long time for Zootopia 2.
It's been like a decade, right?
I'm sure there will be more biopics this year, but the only one I could find is Michael, based on the life of Michael Jackson, directed by Antoine Fuqua.
Have you heard that so far the ending they shot for this movie is stuck in legal limbo?
Really?
Yeah, it has to do with the story of the rights of the victims and the lawsuits. So, yeah.
It just seems ill-advised in general.
Well, there's also like a Michael Broadway musical that's going on right now.
That's insane.
And I like Michael Jackson's music. I'm not defending the guy. It seems like a weird thing to like be making biopics about him and all this stuff. Because like, I think he's got a bit of a, he's controversial, to put it mildly.
Yes, for sure.
Well, that's the way they make them.
Mm-hmm.
But I get the impression that at least the Michael musical is trying to be like all the good and none of the bad. Maybe the Michael biopic with Antoine Fuqua is, a little bit more of a mixed bag, but we'll see.
I just can't imagine sitting in a movie theater hearing about how awful Michael Jackson was. Like, I feel like I've had my fill of that story at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been told from like 80 million angles. I don't need it dramatized. Okay, reboots.
Well,
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Reboots, spinoffs, and sequels. Den of Thieves 2, Pantera. Did anybody see Den of Thieves 1?
Nope.
No.
Me neither. Bridget Jones, Mad About the Boy. New Bridget Jones movie.
Bloodlines has got to be, right? Yeah.
The Accountant 2, because we were all begging for a sequel to that movie.
That's the Ben Affleck movie from like a decade ago? Wow.
From the World of John Wick, Ballerina. We're getting the John Wick spinoff this year.
This is Ana de Armas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm going to see it.
I'm actually looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
Jurassic World Rebirth. They're rebooting the Jurassic World series.
with ScarJo, right?
I don't know.
I think Scarlett Johansson's in this.
It's directed by Gareth Edwards, though, who last directed The Creator. And I liked that movie. So who knows?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe they can bring it back. Feels like we need some distance, though, from the Jurassic Park series for sure. On Netflix, The Old Guard 2. Charlize is back.
Finally. Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Finally? Oh, that would have been on my top 10 anticipated movies list if I had known it was coming out this year.
Well.
No interest whatsoever.
Oh, we're doing it, guys. We're doing Old Guard 2. If we did Rebel Moon 2, The Scargiver, we could do Old Guard 2.
I don't know why we did that.
Because you got completionists.
Yeah. Smurfs. They're rebooting the Smurfs this year. I think it's fully animated this time, which is good. In live action remakes, we've got Snow White, Lilo and Stitch, and How to Train Your Dragon. More movies nobody asked for, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, I understand the Disney machine, but How to Train Your Dragon, those movies are 10 years old. Like, they just finished that series right around the pandemic, and now they're just rebooting a live action.
Plus, like, the live action trailer that I saw for it looks like they remade the animated version frame by frame.
Oh, yeah. It had like the shot of whatever the Flip or whatever the kid's name is, like looking away and touching Toothless.
Right.
But like in the DreamWorks version, because it's animated, his face is all like, oh, I don't, it's all like scrunched up, like I'm not sure. And then in the trailer, it's just some kid looking away and touching a dragon.
Right.
I was like, well, the animated version is so much more interesting to look at because you can see emotion on their faces.
Next, we've got The Naked Gun, directed by Akiva Schaffer.
Sweet.
Akiva Schaffer's rebooting the Naked Gun series.
Is it a Lonely Island thing?
I couldn't find any proof of that.
Who are they going to cast that can be as dry as Leslie Nielsen?
I don't know. I don't.
Because Liam Neeson?
No.
Liam Neeson is in it.
He is in it?
Oh, really? Oh, I thought you were joking.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
I mean, I don't.
Maybe.
I don't know what kind of movies I want Liam Neeson to be in, but it could be fun if he's trying to do a comedy. Maybe.
Have you seen his cameo in Extras?
Probably. I saw all of Extras, so yes, but it's been a while.
He has a scene where he's like talking, and it's funny. I don't remember anything more than that.
Okay. Oh, Chris Farley, thank you for the great insight.
He just plays it very dry. Very dry.
Okay.
Sure. Freakier Friday, starring Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan. They're back for another swing at the Freaky Friday franchise.
Is this the Lohan-nonsense?
Could be. Could be.
Okay.
We're getting a new Nobody movie, Nobody 2.
Okay.
Why? I mean, I liked Nobody, but I don't know where that story can go.
It's kind of an underground hit, so
yeah, no, I liked it.
They got to do another one, of course.
Had the RZA in it, had Christopher Lloyd in it.
Yep. Downton Abbey 3. Can we just put this one to bed already?
Wow.
Downton
Seriously.
Abbey, another movie. Mortal Kombat 2. This is the reboot series of Mortal Kombat. Is now getting a second movie. Now You See Me 3.
Why isn't it called Now You Three Me?
I don't know. It really should. Just like the second one should have been called Now You Don't.
Now You Don't, exactly. Yeah.
Wicked: For Good, which is the finishing of the Wicked story.
Yeah.
Did you guys see Wicked? Or was I the only one
Not
that
yet.
saw it?
I plan to.
Yeah, it got a bunch of Oscar nominations, so I will see it.
It's a fun movie. Yeah. It's not going to blow you away, but it's fun. Anaconda. They're remaking Anaconda with Jack Black, Paul Rudd, and Steve Zahn.
Okay.
Oh, it's going to be them running through the forest screaming for 2 hours.
Hopefully.
I don't know if I want to see that.
Okay, and here's just a bunch of miscellaneous movies that I couldn't categorize. Back in Action stars Cameron Diaz and Jamie Foxx. It's an action movie on Netflix. I think it's actually out. Wish You Were Here, which is the directorial debut of Julia Stiles.
Okay.
Who's amazing in every way, shape, and form. So I must watch it. Flight Risk, directed by Mel Gibson. That's in theaters right now, and it's getting trounced, from what I understand. It's like Mark Wahlberg in a plane hijacking movie. The Gorge, from the director of The Black Phone. I like this cast. Miles Teller, Anya Taylor-Joy, and Sigourney Weaver.
Interesting.
Wait, so this guy's not doing Black Phone 2? Is someone else doing Black Phone 2?
I believe he also did Black Phone 2.
Okay.
Yeah. This is an Apple TV Plus movie, so it'll be easy to see. In the Lost Lands, which is a fantasy film directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, based on a short story by George R.R. Martin, starring his ex-wife Mila Jovovich and Dave Bautista.
It's gonna be bad.
Probably.
Yeah.
Steven Soderbergh has another movie coming out this year, Black Bag, spy thriller starring Cate Blanchett and Michael Fassbender. Well, I haven't seen Michael Fassbender in anything in a while. Looking forward to it. Opus, an A24 thriller starring Ayo Edebiri.
Oh.
That's all I know about it.
All right.
A Working Man, an action thriller directed by David Ayer, written by Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, this is the Jason Statham movie.
Okay, did you mention this already?
I did not, but I will be seeing this.
Okay. Stars Jason Statham, David Harbour, and Michael Pena.
It's it's like the same team that did The Beekeeper.
That's not a good arc in my book.
Beekeeper.
We're getting a new Michel Gondry movie this year called Golden. It's going to be a musical, comedy, drama.
Okay.
Don't know anything about it other than that, but I miss good Michel Gondry movies. Hurry Up Tomorrow is a psychological thriller directed by Trey Edward Schultz, the guy who did Krisha and Waves. Listen to this. It's based on The Weeknd, the music artist, The Weeknd, his sixth studio album. And it stars Jenna Ortega and Barry Keoghan.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, I have no idea what those words mean as far as final result on the screen, but sounds experimental. F1, which is from the director of Top Gun Maverick. It has a stacked cast, including Brad Pitt, and it's about F1 racing. So if you didn't get enough of that with that movie that was based on a video game, what was the name of that?
Gran Torino.
Turismo,
whatever it's called. Yeah.
We got more racing movies. Caught Stealing, which is a crime thriller from Darren Aronofsky. Looking forward to that.
Interesting.
You think they bought the Jane's Addiction song rights?
Maybe.
Okay.
If they know what they're doing, they did. Two more. Good Fortune, which is directed by Aziz Ansari, another name I haven't heard in quite a while.
Oh, I'm going to see a stand-up show in a month.
Nice.
Yeah.
His directorial film debut, starring Keanu Reeves and Seth Rogen in a body swap comedy. Keanu Reeves and Seth Rogen.
I think Keanu could do comedy.
Yeah.
Bill and Ted.
And finally, Marty Supreme, another A24 movie. This is a sports drama written by Josh Safdie and directed by him, starring Timothée Chalamet, Gwyneth Paltrow, and Tyler, the Creator, the music artist. So we're getting a new Safdie movie, not from the brothers, just from one of them.
Just the
Just
one.
from one of them.
Is it just Josh, you said?
Well, did you guys heard they broke up as a directing team, right?
No, did they?
Oh, I did not hear that.
Yeah.
No.
They said that they explored a bunch of projects and they couldn't really decide between them what to do next. And so they just decided to do their own things.
Okay, so
Wow.
it's amicable breakup.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
I don't believe it's that they hate each other or anything like that. But.
That's good.
All right. That's movies for 2025. Before we get out of here, we have a couple thank yous to put out. Thank you to everyone for coming along in 2025. If you listen to any episode, in 2024, if you listen to any episodes in 2024, we appreciate it. Thank you for listening and engaging with us. And hopefully that'll continue through the next year. We need to especially thank our Patreons, specifically Marcos, Mansari, Marco, Logan, Josh, Troy, Alan, Victoria, Scotty, Justin, Ryan, Scott, and Roger. We appreciate your support on Patreon. Thank you very much. And it's now that time, guys. We do this every year. 2025. What's the future for Cinereelists? We always take a vote. Do we Do we retire in 2025 or do we continue the podcast through 2025?
I say we keep going.
I just want to say that Zach didn't think you or me were going to live through the year, James.
And we did.
That's not true.
And we did.
That's not
We
true.
proved him
So, I don't
wrong.
know. I was hopeful that both of you would
You're
survive
hopeful.
2024, and it turns out you were, and I'm very happy about that, especially with what 2025 might bring. And so I'm overjoyed you guys survived the year.
Oh,
Nice.
good. Well, James,
Yeah.
I'm happy you survived also, and Zach, I guess you can still be.
I'm glad we all survived. Hopefully we'll all survive 2025 for sure.
Well, let's be a little more positive. Hey, see you in 2026, guys.
Okay.
Yeah,
Fair
it's
enough.
very possible.
That I'll see you in 2026.
Yeah, that's in the realm of possibility for sure. And-
It's the fact that you use the word possible, not probable. I think that upsets me.
Right.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
It's
Like,
certainly possible.
Possible sounds like a pessimistic term. Like, are we
think
gonna have snow? It's possible. Like, where probable is like, yeah, probably gonna happen.
I'm going to
Well,
go with probable.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle, I honestly hope that it's probable. I would love that. That would be fantastic.
It's all the qualifying words.
No,
we
no,
heard.
no, no. No. While it's certainly possible, if it was probable, that would be fantastic. And let's assume it's probable and go with that.
Sure,
because
why not?
that would be
Yeah.
I would love to spend the next year with you guys alive. So
Nice.
Okay, so I think Zach's a yay vote.
The feeling's
I
mutual.
say let's do it.
Okay.
You know what
Kyle?
else
Yeah,
is
why not?
probable? You know what else is probable?
What?
That we'll have a new episode next week where we discuss The Brutalist and Oscar nomination hot takes. Or maybe we won't talk about The Brutalist. Did we decide we're not talking about The Brutalist? I don't
I
remember.
think we don't all have access to the Brutalist yet.
Right.
So we're gonna push that one.
So we haven't decided, but we're definitely going to talk Oscar nomination hot takes and something else as well. So we look forward to it. We'll see you guys there. Until then, keep it cinereal.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.